Bitcoin poised to break out as U.S. money market reaches 6.2 trillion. What does this mean? The money is about to flow. Investors have poured 90 billion in U.S. funds this month, but we also know the M2 money supply is increasing. And when the rate gets cut next month, we will have more money swashing around in the economy. So bottom line, when the money starts flowing, that's when investments and assets start going up in price. That's really what it means. We saw on Friday a huge net inflow into Bitcoin ETFs, right? 252 million. That's a lot, but look at this. Investment advisors have purchased $1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin ETFs in Q2 alone of this year. That's amazing. That's amazing, right? So overall, we got a ton of buying. Buying Bitcoin ETFs is basically institutions' way of buying Bitcoin. It's just really much easier for them to do. And into us, these fund makers have to buy physical Bitcoin when their shares are being purchased, right? So you got massive amount of purchasing right now. In fact, BlackRock themselves bought 4,000 of their own Bitcoin ETF, and they put it into their strategic global bond fund. You know how I always say BlackRock never has any outflows? I show you guys this all the time. Today, Fidelity and Bitwise both had outflows. This one also had outflow, Van Eyck, right? We don't have the number for BlackRock, but I'll bet you it's either going to be zero or there's going to be a net inflow. You notice that there is no outflow. Why is that? Because BlackRock keeps buying their own ETFs. This is their way. This is Larry Fink's way to make sure that there is no outflow. There's only inflow. BlackRock wants to control as much Bitcoin and accumulate as much Bitcoin as they can. It's really that simple. We don't want BlackRock to control so much Bitcoin. This is not a good thing. Okay, that's why I advise you guys to hodl what you have. Don't panic for FUD, right? Don't panic sell. And if you can, continue to DCA, because one day Bitcoin's going to be too expensive. It's going to be hard to accumulate, especially when the likes of BlackRock continues to add billions upon billions to their fund. Now, this is what I want to show you guys, okay? I pointed this out before, but I'm glad finally someone made a chart that is very easy to understand. For those that have been complaining, why is Bitcoin not going to 100,000 yet? Why is it stuck at 60-something thousand? This and that. Why are we going sideways? You got all these guys that are so impatient. And here's the bottom line. Every single cycle so far, you see that banana phase that a lot of people refer to, or the parabolic phase. You see that happen after elections every single time. Now, does that mean that you don't go upwards until then? No, you obviously, if you look at this, you see September, October timeframe, it starts going up. But the parabolic phase happens after elections time. And you notice this cycle right now, we went up quickly, very quickly in March, right? So we're ahead of the game. Prior cycles around March through September, still below all-time high, right? But we're nearly there. We're almost in September, and we know we have a big catalyst in September, that very first rate cut in the US, right? And then we got October and November, and that's when things will get wild, right? And you could see what happened after the elections from the prior cycles. You saw in the last one, the green, we went straight up to 64,000, and then eventually ended up at 69,000. In the prior cycle, we went straight up to $20,000. So where will we end up this time, right? 200,000, 250, 300, 500,000? Who knows? But we're going to go a lot higher. We're certainly going to break six figures. We'll probably go break six figures before the end of this year. And that's when it's going to get really interesting. Really, really interesting, right? So again, to put things in perspective, Bitcoin does not rise immediately after a halving event. It rises toward the end of that year during a halving event. It just so happens to be election year every single halving year because it's every 4 years. From a short-term perspective, right, where can we expect Bitcoin to go? Well, according to this, the next levels will be 95,000 right below that magical six-figure point. Then we're going to hit 143,000. This is using Fibonacci levels. And then after that, who knows? But according to this, we may hit 143,000 by the end of the year. That's what this is indicating. That would be awesome. I can't even imagine if Bitcoin ends this year at $143,000, then where will it be by the end of 2025? 300, 400, 500,000? We just don't know. We don't know. But hey, we don't have to wait very long to find out. It's going to happen. Just have patience. I know when you look at it and wait for it every single day, it makes you feel like it's an eternity. But no, we're getting really close. The parabolic phase is coming up. So this is when you need to hold strong, look towards the future, and continue to hold in DCA. It's really that simple, right? You don't want to miss out on this. And when this happens to Bitcoin, watch out, because those alts, they will replicate. Not only that, they will go to the moon. That's why we have alts. That's why we hold alts, because alts during the right moments go insane. Now, speaking of alts, what are some to pay attention to? Well, I did mention this week we have a big NVIDIA's earnings day, right? And NVIDIA has to do with AI, which is why a lot of AI tokens are doing well. Even the ones that are indirectly related to AI, they're doing well too, right? So let's see what happens in NVIDIA. If they have a spectacular quarter once again, which I'm expecting, it's going to not only pump them, but also pump a lot of AI-related crypto.